I'm going to be casting a replay in NGS Division C between virtual Murky Slayers and off-brand cereal. This is the second time I am casting this replay. The first time I cast it with Mongoose. Unfortunately, due to a technical issue, we lost the video from that particular recording. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the audio from our first recording during draft. After the draft is done, I will open up HOTS and then solo cast the gameplay footage. Alright, without further ado, I am going to turn on the audio recorded from the draft portion, and let's see how it goes. Is set up correctly. This again is my first time streaming, so I apologize for any issues that may crop up. Alright, so joining me today is Mongoose from Region Blue, and we are going to be casting a game between virtual Murky Slayers and off-brand cereal. Now this is sort of interesting. It's like the first game in Division. Like, what are you going to be expecting for this kind of game, Mongoose?
I think you're going to see teams try to draft comfort and standard, especially if they're not overly familiar with each other. You're going to kind of, especially in the first game, be feeling the other out. So that's what I expect. Teams to kind of go with their bread and butter that they've been working on and not really try to go too crazy.
Yeah, and I feel like both these teams have a lot of comfort picks to fall back on. They're both sort of experienced teams that have a history of pretty good performance in the NGS. I know, for example, that Virtual Murky Slayers was in the playoffs for Div C last division. We ran into them in the middle of that, and they have a particularly terrifying Zeratul and Noob combination. You have to ask my captain.
Yeah, that's actually something I've seen a little bit this week. A number of teams running Zeratul, Anubarak, and then I think it was you guys who actually had the Zeratul, Anubarak, Stukov ran on you, right? And it was really strong.
It was terrifying. So I think it requires you to have a good Zeratul player, which they certainly do. If you look at Fake News Nate, he has over 1,000 games on Zeratul. Man is absolutely terrifying.
Did Illusion know?
Did Illusion know? Oh, I'm sorry. I did not quite hear that.
Hello?
Sorry. Are we still there? Are we still going? Okay. Looks like I forgot to hold down my push the talk button there. Sorry about that.
That would explain why I couldn't hear you.
Okay. So I was just saying that Fake News Nate had over 1,000 games on Zeratul, which is just insane. And yeah, so they have a particularly nasty Zeratul Anubarak combination, as well as some other really good comfort picks. Now, I haven't played against off-brand cereal before, but they are the grand winners of Div D. I don't think they even lost a map until the postseason.
I believe that's correct.
So it's really interesting seeing like two very successful teams go at each other in like the first week. And with that, I think I can just go straight into the draft. So this is AV. This was off-brand cereal's pick. And the first couple bands are Maev, Dahaka for Virtual Murky Slayers, and then Anubarak, Asmodan for off-brand cereal. Anything particularly stand out to you?
Not especially. You said it was Anubarak, Maev.
Sorry, Maev Dahaka for Virtual Murky Slayers.
Yeah, that's pretty standard. And then who was the other one other than the Anubarak?
Asmodan, which is sort of odd because he just got nerfed, didn't he?
Yeah, that's where I was going to go. The only one that jumps out to me is the Asmo. I think because these games happen so close to the changes, I don't think anybody really knows quite how to take them into effect quite yet. So I don't want to say you're ignoring them, but not knowing how potent the changes are going to be, you kind of don't pay them too much attention.
Okay. One thing that was not banned, however, is Diablo, and that's going to be Virtual Murky Slayer's first pick. Um, Off-brand series is going to follow up with Falstad Orphea, which I think is sort of interesting. That really high priority on the Falstad.
Yeah, that jumps out to me too. Falstad is not very highly contested nowadays. If there was something you wanted, um, a little more highly prioritized, you could have probably got that Falstad later in the draft. The only exception would be as if Virtual Murky Slayers was doing their homework on off-brand cereal last season and they were running a lot of Falstad. Maybe you're afraid it gets banned away from you, but other than that, that is a little bit surprising to see Falstad so high in the draft. But the global is there's not that many now, and the globals are
Mm-hmm.
really strong.
Yeah, and with the Haka out of the picture, then maybe they wanted to secure the global. And the Orphea is interesting too. I mean, it's a character that they haven't played yet, at least on Stats of the Storm records, but because that hasn't been out yet, so maybe potentially a new favorite for them.
Yeah, she's really strong when played well. She's really annoying when played well, so I
Mm-hmm.
don't mind the high priority on the Orphea by at all.
Okay, so after the Falstead Orphea picked, Virtual Milky Slayers goes with Phoenix Zeratul. So they get the Zeratul, and that I think is pretty critical. Um, they have pretty much access to a really solid series of comfort picks. They don't have the Anubarak, but Diablo is just as strong. Alright, for the second rounds of bans, um, we have Garrosh ban on the side of Virtual Murky Slayers, trying to lock out the tank, and Kane ban on the side of Off-Brand Cereal. Pretty standard bans. Any comments, or should we just go on to the rest?
The Kane one jumps out to me a little bit. He's kind of fallen on hard times. I mean, I would guess that would be a targeted ban. Teams, do their homework and they know one another. So I would guess that would be a targeted ban, not a meta ban.
Yeah, that seems pretty reasonable to me. Okay, so the um, last couple picks, it's going to be Rhaegar and Imperius. And now, I am the support player for Arrogant Nephilim, and I don't see a lot of Rhaegar. He's not a hero that's sort of high up on the support hierarchy, and some of the more really strong ones on Tyrande are still on the table here. So,
Yeah, Rhaegar, actually, I'm seeing him a fair amount, but I do agree that the kind of two we're seeing a lot more, the Anna and Tehran, I'm almost never, especially Anna, never seeing getting to that second round of bans. So to see them slip seemingly all the way through this draft is very surprising.
yeah, I can see Rhaegar occasionally when you really need more wave clear. He is pretty much the best support if you need that, but there's really not that much Merc or wave clear going on in this map. So it's interesting. And of course, Imperius is another one I'm sort of surprised to see all the way down there. He has been pretty contested, and he's quite a powerful hero.
Yeah, we like Imperius too. In our game this week, we actually ran an ETC Imperius frontline. We really like that particular combination. It's beefy. It's a lot of CC to lock someone down and take them out. So I really like that particular combination up front.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So the remainder picks from Virtual Milky Slayers, so they're going to pick up an Alarak and Malfurion. Which grab the healer, Malfurion's perfectly fine. Alarak, it's a reasonable pick. I don't know what their comfort is on that one. I think they've played it a bunch in the previous season as well. And the last pick for off-brand cereal is going to pick up their tank. They're going to grab ETC. Alright, so those are the final drafts. Do you have any thoughts overall on how things are going? Any
Yeah,
draft you like more?
as far as the drafts, I like more. Assuming the execution is there, I like the Virtual Murky Slayer. They've got VP, APOC, Dream, Alarak combo, Phoenix on top of it. If they can catch, you know, 2 to 3 heroes in a VP, they can really blow them up. And we're gonna have to watch for that as this game goes on.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be hard to execute on the off-brand cereals comp, they'll need to get value in the lane somehow with like Falstad soaking in lane while everyone postures around the objective, and the Falstad's going to need to choose the right point to come in and get a gust off, and it's going to be difficult. Whereas the strategy from Virtual Murky Slayers, on the other hand, is very simple. Diablo gets someone, they kill them. They win the objective, they win the game. Alright. So, okay, that is the end of the audio clip for the drafting part. I'm sorry, the site it looks like I'm using does not have Imperius and does not have a third ban. So just imagine that Tyrael is an Imperius there. Okay, I am going to go and throw up the actual game, which I will be solo casting here. It's going to be an exciting one, so hold on to the seat of your pants. Let me bring it up. And here you are on Alterac. Alright, loading in the game now. And this time I will make sure to actually swap to the in-game camera and not end this whole thing. Alright, so let's go in-game. Okay, this looks like it's working. Let's kick it off. Alright, on the left side we have Fake News Nate on Zeratul, Seabrisket on Phoenix, Veggies on Diablos, Ragnaros on Malfurion, and Bagtron on Alarak. That is Virtual Murky Slayers. On the right we have Off-Brand Seruth, Rakatan on Imperius, Alskarite, I'm sorry, I'm probably mangling that name, on Orphea, Mad Buddha on Falstad, Springlock on Rhaegar, and Double J on ATC. And so, right off first, you can see that Virtual Murky Slayers is going straight for the opening clash, while Off-Brand Serial, they're going off and soaking lanes. Not too bad an idea. Virtual Murky Slayers does have an Alarak there, so they have stacks, and they do not want to feed stacks there. Okay, nothing too unusual from the builds here. Pretty much what you would expect there. Zeratul starting up on the cleaving build. That's going to come online at 16 and things are going to get crazy. So, bottom, Mad Buddha taking a little bit of damage as they push in the bottom. And they're just basically going to trade a little bit of damage on bottom for a little bit of damage on mid. Now, Mongoose made an interesting point when we were actually casting this, and that mid is the lane that has the mercenaries pushing. It's the one that things are in danger of. Oh, and here comes a rotation. Beautiful face melt by the ETC, keeps Diablo away. And I am going to focus on the mid lane for a second. So, hold on to things will eventually happen here. Just Alarak and Orphea pouting in a chair. Orphea getting a couple good shots off. There is some explosions going down bottom, but not too much going to go on here. So while the mid laners duel it out, basically bottom just took a little bit poke, backed off a bit. And now Alarak's about half health. Orphea is just hanging back, waiting for a Q to come up. Alarak takes a little bit of poke. Orphea lands the Q, jumps in, goes for the chomp, and boom! First blood to Off-Brand Serial. Beautifully done by the Orphea there. Meanwhile, down the bottom lane, there is a all-out brawl going. That's going to be pretty much how this game is going. There's going to be constant action going on throughout. Diablo's going up to the mid to cover up Soak, while Alarak is respawning. And let's see if Off-Brand Serial can push in, take the advantage a little bit while Diablo's distracted. Alright, 4s first for Off-Brand Serial. We get some healing ward on Rhaegar, immediately pops out, keeps everyone alive. And then ETC slides in, gets the face melt, Falstad follows up, and that's a dead Malfurion. So second blood as well to Off-Brand Serial, doing a pretty good job of keeping the pressure up. Alright, Diablo's coming back down, just to keep things from getting too out of hand at the bottom. And this is going to be the first objective. So, alright, oh, a beautiful slide in, interrupts the teleport out, and that is third blood for Off-Brand Serial, and should give them an advantage a little bit on the objective. The main thing is that they've got a bit of an experience lead on the kills. They're not going to get much structure damage, and Phoenix will be up by the time the objectives are. So they're just going to take one of these towers here. Good root by Melf, discouraging a little bit of aggression there, and it's going to be time for the first objective. Now, top lane, they're not moving down yet. Imperius gets a little bit of damage on there. He's probably going to win these early trades. He's Imperius. He's tough. He's brutal. And Zeratul is really going to come on much later in the game. But back down here, ETC gets slammed to the wall. Gets flipped over. He's isolated, but Rhaegars are there. And Virtual Murky Slayer sets up in defensive posture. So Zeratul is going to stay up a little bit longer. He's going to catch a wave up in the top there while Imperius comes down. Misses the Q on Alec, but Alalak's going to take a bunch of poke there. So with that, they have a limited time opportunity to try to invade, but Zeratul is coming right down. So their time window is running out. Okay, putting a few damage on the defenders. And so Imperius gets uprooted, but there's not much to follow up. And so here comes the channel on ETC. ETC is interrupted by Alarak. Diablo's in there. Imperius is in the middle. He's in nowhere land, but he's Imperius. He's healing up from his fire. He gets a beautiful two-man slides, and he dies, but he trades out well, and Diablo's low enough that that is going to be an objective captured for off-brand Serial. It will be an objective as soon as they finish it. Alright, Diablo tries to interrupt, but Rhaegar is there. ETC's a little bit isolated. He's just getting pounded by the Alarak. The Diablo, the flip keeps him out. Tries to slide out, but nope. That's done out. And then, oh, that's a whole bunch of kills. Alright, so they managed to get some time on it, but with a good collapse on ETC and Rhaegar, they managed to pick it up. Now, the death timers are low enough that they're probably going to be up for this objective again. As long as they manage not to have any particular staggering the kills. Orphea can defend this. Imperius is also here. So they just need to hold on a little bit second. Oh! Snake going in. Gets a beautiful kill on Orphea. Imperius tries to peel, but he's low. He's going to walk out. But this objective is pretty much going to go over to Virtual Murky Slayers. They're healthy. They've got a 5v4. And Imperius is walking a little bit forward. He gets pulled in, flipped, and he is going to go down. And this is now certainly an objective of Virtual Murky Slayers. There's not too much more they can do here. And honestly, once one of them died, it probably was game over for this particular objective. So now the question is, what can Virtual Murky Slayers do with this? The objective is reasonably strong on this map, but they're going to need to decide which lane they're going to push in and try to take the fort on. Phoenix gets pushed back, stunned out, but there's just an ETC Rhaegar here. They're not going to... Although damage is going to be mid and top, trying to hold off the cavalry, which is coming slowly but surely. It's about slowly taking that little dwarf ram all the way over here. And it looks like with free bottom lane that Virtual Murky Slayers is trying to push out his bottom as much as possible. They've got a half lead of a lead to 10, so they're going to hit 10s first, especially if they manage to get some structure, XP, and take down this fort. And they're definitely going to get the wall here, and they almost certainly will get this fort. Yeah, that's all three, and this Rhaegar ETC can't stop this. They've got no range. They've got not much they can do. For mid, it looks like Falstad and Orphea are going to be able to clean this up fine. Imperius is out-dueling Zeratul at the top there. Yeah. Zeratul really can't do much against the dedicated Bruiser and Sustain. But with that, it looks like they're going to settle for getting a fort in the bottom and move in and see what pressure they can get on mid. So they can get the tower here. It's pretty low, but it's going to be difficult. They do not have very much poke on the side of Virtual Murky Slayers. They have a Phoenix and a little bit of poke from the Alarak, but really they want to be able to get in close with the Diablo and the Zeratul. They're going to be settled for just a single tower, and it looks like both teams are going to pull back, going for their mercenaries. Alright, Rhaegar can solo these mercenaries particularly quickly, and especially with the help of Ophelia. And same, it looks like both merc sides are going to trade mercs, and they're going to start pushing towards center. At this point, it's going to be interesting. The mercs are on off-brand Serial side. They have to go for the full wall. They might get some damage on it, probably not too much. The mercs on Virtual Murky Slayers might get some more done. as they posture around. It really depends on which team can get the most value out of these Mercs. And it looks like they're going to get some damage on the Mercs already for Virtual Murky Slayers. And it's a 4v3 on mid, with Falstad soaking a lane in the bottom. He's going to have to choose when he wants to come in. I will also quickly talk about the heroics. Void Prison, pretty much standard for Zeratul. Not a combination with Apocalypse though. This is a Lightning Breath Diablo. Purification Salvo for Phoenix, Twilight Dream for Malf, and Counter Strike for Alarak. On the side of Off-Brand Seria, we have Crushing Jaws for the Fury. Oh, got an action going on. Falstad flies in. Foes of Gust. Diablo's isolated. He's not getting out of here. He's stunned, chomped, flings, and he is a dead Lord of Terror. That is going to reset his souls, and that's going to be pretty critical, because that objective is coming right up. And Virtual... all the heroics are still up. The only thing that was used with the Gust, we still have the Chomping Jaws, the Mosh Pit, the... what is it actually called? Angelic Omens, and the Ancestral. So with Diablo a little bit weak on souls, Elvis to go in, appears to get stunned out. Oh, ETC gets a God Mosh. There's a Void Prison in the back line, stops a lot of the damage, but it's not going to be enough. Alarak's down, Diablo's down. A beautiful Ancestral saves Ophelia, and that is going to be a 2 for nothing. And that is going to be an objective in the favor of Off-Brand Serial. Okay, with this, they have a chance of evening up. They're losing a little bit of passive experience due to the fort bottom, but with those kills and the cavalry coming up, they should have an easy time taking out the remainder here. And there's not too much that Virtual Murky Slayers can do. Alarak and Zeratul are going to be up pretty much just as this finishes. If they hurry, they might be able to make it, but they're going to have to stall it out, and it's going to be very quick. Alright, so they're going in here. There's a summon the little broccoli tree. He's doing as much can. Phoenix starts to channel. ETC goes in to interrupt. Lightning Breath onto ETC, stopping in the back. The Purification Salvo goes out, bringing big damage. Zeratul's in the back line. No, he's not actually. Yeah, Rhaegar fighting it off, and that is a dead Imperious, but most importantly, they managed to interrupt the entire stop there, so they will get the objective there. And that honestly is worth it. A full objective for 1 death, pretty much what you want. And it's going to be side of which lane they want to push now. Alright. Well, while this is going on here, I'm going to quickly check my broadcast and make sure the settings are correct. All looks good. If I can stop this from happening here. Alright. Okay. Alright, so mid lane is getting pushed out. There is a just straight much damage on the towers. They're not going to get too much done, it looks like. 1 tower down, 2nd tower going down. Diablo gets a flip over, but ETC gets the face mount to prevent the charge up. Diablo takes a little bit of poke, and that is pretty much going to be a dead objective there. The bottom lane, Phoenix cleans up the bottom raider, and Zeratul is cleaning up the bottom one. So not too much accomplished here. Beautiful root, double root keeps anything going on, and there's a 5-man mid push. Zeratul's top lane, so this is a chance for them to do what they can. They decide that they are going to back out here. That's pretty much well. You don't know where the Zeratul is. They come down. What is going on here? Alright, hold on. I'm going to make sure that this does not get interrupted again. Okay, that should save us from interrupts. Okay, so in the meantime, it looks like the both retreat to the mercenaries, and we're resetting. Virtual Murky Slayers has a slight lead into 16, and 16 is the critical level. Zeratul is going to come online at this point and start doing increasing damage on that cleave build. Alarak is not stacking, doesn't have too much statism. He's got a few deaths in here going on, and it's going to be the same reset. Mercenaries pushing mid lane. Falstad is going to be globe split soaking bottom. And it looks like Off-Brand Serial is looking at a boss. Now, I'm not sure if Virtual Murky Slayers has sniffed this out. Zeratul's looking. Oh yeah, he knows. He's definitely going up there. The boss is only half health. Here comes Virtual Murky Slayers. They're going to collapse on this. This could be disaster. Alright. Oh, a stun on Furia. ETC gets a beautiful face mount to save him. Angelic Omens out there. Imperious is really low. He's almost dead. The Prefix subs out, but the Ancestral manages to save him out. Ophelia is also low, and they have to back off on the boss. No deaths. But in the meantime, that was a 45. Volstad were getting him soaked. They are slowly evening the experience up here. They're fortunate to get out without any deaths, but they have managed to tie this game up. And this was a slightly to Virtual Murky Slayers. They got a better late game. Oh, Volstad takes a little bit of damage there, but he's safe. He can jump out. It looks like Operator was thinking about the boss, but they're going to go for the objective. Probably a good idea. I'm not too much of a fan of the boss on this map. Objectives are much more powerful. Alright, they are coming down. They're going to get a collapse on it. Here comes ETC. He's getting a mosh pit. There's the slide, there's the gust, there's the jaws, and there is a dead Virtual Murky Slayers. Fake News Nate gets a return kill on the Zero Tool and it's a Void Prison, but it's a 2-for-1 at this point. And I think, oh, Fake News Nate's caught out a little bit. He blinks away, but he is invulnerable to the ETC. He slid, and he is dead. And that pretty much means the third objective is going to go the way of Operand Serial. Rhaegar getting the last bite on Diablo, and down he goes. And with 30 seconds, 45 seconds before the Lord of Terror arrives, that is going to be a fully channeled objective with all likelihood. They can try to fight it 4v5 when Zeratul gets there, but it's going to be really difficult for them to pull off. Alright, with that, Off-brand Syria goes back to soaking lanes, and they are just going to clear out the main boss and see if they can take what they can do with this particular objective. Now there still hasn't been a fort down for Off-brand Serial, so they are going to have to take out a whole bunch of stuff before they can actually get to the sweet juicy keeps. Alright, Alarak gets a little bit delay, that's not too bad, but he's stunned out. Unstoppable does a good job there. ETC pretty much down, Phoenix in the back line. ETC is low, he's silenced, he gets a beautiful Ancestral. I thought he was dead there. Oh, Imperius gets a 3-man stun, that is insane. Malf gets a Twilight Dream off, but there's not particularly anything left there. Lightning Breath is going to tickle that ETC. Malf is still alive, manages to do it. A little bit of anti-synergy with the Gust pushing them away from the closing jaws, but it doesn't matter. They pushed them away, they got the objective, and they are on the defensive. Okay, so now it's going to be which lane are they going to decide to push. Looks like bottom lane right now, with Imperius and Rhaegar both taking this opportunity to Hearthing. So with that, Virtual Murky Slayers is going to get some good clear on the top and middle objective. But this bottom fort is almost certainly down. Alright, so just look at the middle. It's about halfway down. Diablos. Look, these guys are outside the range of the additional speed, so they're not getting the bonus. Alarak is going to be able to clean up this no problem. And bottom, there goes bottom. The objective is still free force health, so they're going to push onto the wall there. Alright, the wall is in danger here. Off-brand Serial is pushing as hard as they can. Zeratul and Diablo are still mid lane. They are rotating down now. And it's going to see if they can try to force a fight here. The wall goes down, and it looks like Off-brand Serial is looking for a pick here, but they're not quite going. Yeah, they don't want to commit too much. They have no minion wave, the objective is down, and they are going to back out here. They still have Gust if any of them managed to need a full disengage, but doesn't look like they need it. They're just going to pull out. Alright, that has pretty much evened up the map for structure-wise. There's 2 forts down for Off-brand Murky Slayers. Off-brand Serial, 2 forts down for Virtual Murky Slayers. And Off-brand Serial is going to start on the boss. Now, Virtual Murky Slayers know about this. This is a risky play. Can they do it? Alarak and Diablo are still mid. They are now coming down here. Effective Nate is snarking around the back. This is going to be a critical fight. He's looking for a Void Prison. Oh, he gets spotted out by Mad Buddha. Alright, he's taking a bunch of damage. ETC in the front is getting isolated, though. He's blowing up. Void Prison is burned to save Fake News Nate. And it looks like that's going to be a 1-for-0. The boss has not reset. It looks like Virtual Murky Slayers is going to take it over. And they are going to fall back here. This is going to be a free boss and potentially a push on the keep for Virtual Murky Slayers. They're a little bit low, but Malfurion will heal them up. And with this is a 5v4, they are going to get some there's not too much they can do here. Imperious, he's gonna get caught out. He's got a little bit of healing. He's dead. Oh, the Ancestral keeps him alive at 1% health. Alarak goes down. Zeratul goes down. Imperious is still alive somehow. Some beautiful healing by Rhaegar, keeping him alive. And Malfurion gets a little bit. Falstad drives in. He's got some lightning going on, and he manages to get the kill. That was an amazing defense. 3 kills for nothing in a 4v5. Beautiful job by Offrancero. They managed to take advantage of Imperious surviving there with a last-minute Ancestral, and managed to turn around on some lower health heroes from off-brand Murky Slayers. Okay, with that, it's going to be objective time, and Malfurion is down for the next 35 seconds. They have full reign to start this objective. There's only a Diablo and a Phoenix. And it doesn't look like off-brand Seos is going to press this. They can do this. They can just push in here. You guys can start it. Okay, so now it's 7 seconds to Zeratul. They should have them up by now. Off-brand Slayers looks like it's going to soak. They, by the way, have hit their 20s. Both teams are going. Falstad is in the bottom lane doing some soaking, trying to get that lane pushing as much as possible. And here it comes. Alright, this fight is going to be critical. It's probably going to decide the game. These late game objectives are no joke. So this is a 4v5 right now. Falstad can fly in whenever you want. Fake News Nate is in the back, gets off a good cleave. Diablo charges in. ETC is in the front line trying to zone here. There's a 2-man Void Prison in the back. ETC is going down there. Rhaegar is almost dead. He's going to die from the cleave damage. Death Mosh goes off, slows him down. But Fake News Nate doing an incredible job on the Zeratul, basically taking out the entire backline by himself. And Ophir is going to get stunned into the wall, pushed, and dead. And that is disaster for Offrancero. This is not when they want to have their objective to die. And with the death timers here, there's no realistic chance that Offrancero can do it. So now the question is, can they hold? It's going to be difficult. It's going to be pushing in every lane, and middle, for instance, is pushed up quite a bit. Falstad is going to get in for some harass here, while Retro Murky Slayer steals away the Mercs. And Falstad's in a little bit of danger here. There's a Diablo looking around, there's a Phoenix, there's a Zeratul, and he is going to get pulled in, silenced, flipped, and that's dead. Yeah, that is not what Offrancero wanted to have happen. Staggering the desk there right before the objective. This is probably going to be game over for them. It's not completely though. There is a chance that they manage to hold it off here, but it's going to be difficult with a full 20-minute objective barreling down every lane. Alright, so objective's been popped. Let's see which lane Virtual Murky Slayers decide to go to. Looks like they're going to push up mid. Seems reasonable. Phoenix and Alec. Alright, so a engage upon Alec. He manages to get out. A Mosh immediately interrupted. I think that was a silence from Alec. And they're going to do a chase. Diablo uses the Hellgate, jumps out of the Crashing Jaws. Now, pretty solid. That could have been a disaster there. That was a 3v4. But they managed to avoid losing anyone. And now here comes the cavalry, and it's not Tracer. Alright, coming in. This front wall is almost certainly going down, and probably keep. Imperious goes in. He's got Litter. The Falstad jumps in the gust behind. He's going to get stunned out. Phoenix is in trouble. He's low. He's dead. He did not take the 20. Ancestral out, but a free-man Void Prison is going to give Virtual Murky Slayers a chance to come out here. There's still a man down, though. Diablo's snarking around. He gets a stun off on Ophelia. Ophelia's low. Healing keeps her alive for a second. She's still alive, but she takes the damage and she's down there. There's the lightning press there. That's a slow. That's a damage. Rhaegar's going to fall, and with Imperious, and that is almost certainly game. Here comes the objective in the mid lane. The objective in the bot lane is pushing, and it's a 2v4, and this is going to almost certainly be the end. All right, so pretty solid game from both players, both teams. Some beautiful play on the ETC. I also want to call out Fake News' Nate Zeratul, just doing some crazy stuff. And there goes the core, and that is going to be the end of Game 1. Alright. So that is, let's see, make sure that this is going correctly. Alright. So, solid game. Um, Beautiful job done by both teams. I think that was a lot of back and forth. It definitely felt like both teams had the ability to take that game, and it was really a sort of a series of very close calls in a bunch of those team fights that really tipped the edge towards virtual Murky Slayers. It'll be interesting to see how both teams adapt this to Game 2. Now, I'm going to stop this stream here, check to make sure I don't have any technical problems, and I will do a separate cast for Game 2. Alright, see you in the next game, guys.